I'm out.
For so many seconds, it said.
Well, good. That's what people need.
You'll have to. There you go. Good morning, everyone. Let me scoot this over. We have a Facebook Marketplace pickup about to happen, so I might need to step away soon. Yes, that's right. If you ain't first, you're last. Step Ricky away. Bobby. Soon.
Wow. Mizzen in Maine, new attacks this weekend, sold it in 2 hours for $65.
Dang, that's awesome.
Fire.
Good morning, everyone. I see some channel members here. We missed last week. We actually were trying to get on, but we ended up not being able to, so I had to cancel at the last minute. So sorry about that. So we knew we could not miss this week.
Hey. Good morning.
Cheryl, yay, caught the live. Rare treat. Hudson, Ohio. Where's Hudson at?
Oh, let's Google it.
Did any of you guys join the Whatnot live? Let me know. I saw a lot of familiar usernames.
It's like Cleveland-ish area.
Oh, okay. Not
it's
bad.
It's this little square right here. Oh, it went away. It looks like it's well, I guess it's technically closer to Akron, if we're going to be.
It's a really small area.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've never heard of that before. Good morning.
Y'all have a Joann's, my kind of place.
Some people missed it. Hey, ladies, I was there. Yes, I did see you. Thanks so much for coming. And thanks for all your help, too, by the way.
Thanks, Shelly. You're the MVP.
You both did a great job. She did a better job. I was like, man,
I had fun.
This was made for her. I think I was more excited about doing it, and she was kind of like, meh. But then when it actually happened, she was more excited in the moment, and I was like, I'm so nervous.
I think I can say that. I probably shouldn't say this.
You can.
Yeah, but you are paid by them, so maybe I shouldn't.
We're allowed to give our full opinion. I plan on doing a video.
Oh, okay. Well, so the only thing I found frustrating is that I feel like you do not make as much on items. And there was a couple items we sold, like Johnny was, and some Vuori stuff that I was like, man, I know we could have gotten it on eBay for higher. But like Cayley said, it is fast money, which is nice if you like need to flip stuff. And like we do have a bunch of Vuori stuff that we're like worried about getting Veros on. So to me, like that makes sense, right? Whether you wait, like in a lot of it's winter or summery stuff, and we're going into winter, and like you want to get that out. Otherwise, you're probably gonna end up taking an offer on it sometime later. But I don't know. I'm that kind of person that like I get really offended by low offers, and then like Whatnot was. I was like, come on, like get it higher, like let's go. But I did have fun.
Yeah, Lori, it went well. I'm gonna do probably a video on it. To most people's dismay, yes, I'm gonna make a couple videos about Whatnot because it is interesting and we are trying it. We sold every item, but like Nikki said, some of them went higher than I expected and some of them went lower. But we only had like I think our peak was like 44 people, so a lot less people than I expected to be on. So my thoughts were, as you grow a following, you know, out of those 44 people, how many people are the right customer for that item? You know what I mean? So if we had a few hundred people on, I feel like those would have gotten bid up a lot more. We would have had, you know, more customers for those brands there. So that's the goal. We're going to grow it, give it a full testing and try out a few different methods and see. How many hours were we on? Like, what, 45 minutes to an hour?
Yeah,
we only did 20 items.
We did 20 items, so we wanted to make sure that we, like, had ample time to work through it. And we definitely had time. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have a better idea of kind of how to run it now, and I feel a lot better about it.
We also did it at 2:30 p.m. our time, so I feel like we'd be better doing it like in the evening. But then we're also competing with other sellers. Like, I don't know, but it went well, and so a lot of resellers are warming up to it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. If you guys have any reselling questions, put down your questions and then we'll get started on it. But yeah, that's what's been going on. We've been trying Whatnot. Shut up. I thought you had to be on for hours to get people in.
There were all kinds of people that were popping in, and like most of them said that they, like there were a few that said that they knew Cayley from YouTube, but like a lot of them didn't. I think it just kind of pops up and they watch it if they want to watch it. I do think you have to have some like enticing reasons for them to want to watch yours. So you definitely want to have a couple like really good items, but we ended up selling everything. So I was excited for that. The other cool thing is about it is like Cayley said, I know some of you guys have been like really against it. I know Whatnot was like severely inundated in the beginning, and some of you guys are probably like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about it. But here's the thing I'll tell you. The one thing that you guys have always said about Cayley's channel is that it's 100% genuine. So whatever we think about it is what you're going to find out about it. So we're only in a contract for so long. That's what I'm going to say. And after that, I'll tell you for sure what it looks like. But honestly,
I'm going to give my opinion in the middle of it.
Like it's been, there's good things and there's bad things. It was generally pretty easy to navigate. I can tell you it was like terrifying, and like looking at the whole screen, there's like so many different things that are going on. Like I'd be curious to see what the mobile app looks like, if you could do mobile versus desktop, because it did look kind of crazy on here, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. We won't talk about it too much, but I will be having some more Whatnot live shows coming up. So for those of you that said you missed it, if you use my link, you can go ahead and like sign up to get that $15 off and then just save it. You don't have to even use it in my live. You can go to any live, but if you do sign up through my link and make an account, I would really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. But yeah, it was fun. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would, to be honest, but I feel like I have better footing now, and hopefully we'll grow a following, and then we'll have more buyers to bid those items up for sure. One person, what was it, was it Jay Reed or Jay Reed, yeah, they bought like half the show. They had a big bundle, and Whatnot automatically bundles. I didn't know that, so that was cool.
All right, I'm cutting her off. Enough of Whatnot.
Questions?
So, question. First of all, was eBay popping for anyone else yesterday? Been pretty slow for me, but yesterday was nuts. Very happy.
We had a nuts week a couple of weeks ago, where we like completely like blew our sales out of the water. Little Miss Nat's here. I haven't seen you in a while. I'm excited you're here.
Yay.
And then it just, like, we're still steadily growing. Like, our average every week is going up with Q4, but I wouldn't say we had, like, a blow-up sales day. So you must have been doing something right that day.
Yeah. Sorry if this is explained before, but I cannot find it. Can you explain your pricing strategy for determining Poshmark prices based on eBay prices?
Well, prices in general, we determine based on comps. We factor in sell-through rate, what other people are listing them for, and then we try to stay kind of in the middle. That's a generic, the most generic I could be. And then when we cross-post onto Poshmark on eBay, we do not allow offers for most things. When you cross-post to Poshmark, you have no choice. You have to allow offers. So because of that, we add a few bucks. So is it 35? Anything below $40, we add $5. Anything above $40, we add $10 to the price. If it ends up being like over 100, we usually add like more than that. We just kind of gauge it as we go. But we add some stuff on and to account for offers, and usually we honestly end up selling them for about what we would sell them for. Yeah.
How often do you do closet clear out, and what kind of discount do you generally do?
I do closet clear out and dropping prices once a month, every single month. I try to do it the first week of every month, and we do it for anything 90 days or older, so it's not our newer items. And closet clear out would be included with that. I always do it on a closet clear out day for Poshmark just to take advantage of it. And I do the minimum amount, which is 10% of the lowest historical price. And I use Posh VA to do that. So it's like a couple clicks, I'm done. And then we get a lot of sales from that method. Sometimes too many. She's like, can you stop? Because now we have to ship out like 50 extra items on Monday.
Oh my gosh. It seems like it's always when somebody's gone too that it happens. Yeah, So I'm ratting Cayley out, but she had her teeth cut out the other day. And she was gone, and one of our other girls was gone, and I had to ship all but 1 hour by myself, and it took me 4.5 hours, and I was like,
not planned.
Oh my god,
we did not plan to put that on her.
No, it just happened. And I was like, I'm never gonna get done. And then the post office people, they closed for lunch because we're like small town in it, and I came back in after lunch and they were like, why are you here so late? Now we're going to be busy. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I wish I could have made it. I've only attended new with tag shows and was interested to see how a pre-owned would go. Morning from the Space Coast. Not great Whatnot show on Friday. I was initially excited about Whatnot, but then backed away after the YouTube chatter of those resellers being jerks and bullying.
Yeah, I was not like catching every detail, but I got the gist of what was going on. But I think that some of those people got banned, so I don't think they're on Whatnot anymore. And I think a lot of that has died down for sure since they first, introduced clothing to Whatnot.
Thrift and Sister said yesterday was slow for me. I know we actually had a day or most of the week last week where we actually sold more on Poshmark than we sold on eBay, which is weird for us. Not that that's like anything we really worry a whole lot about because it does kind of ebb and flow, but we did sell more on Posh last week than we did on eBay. But ASP is higher on eBay than it is on Poshmark. We really use Poshmark as a way to just like clear things out when they've sat for a while on eBay. Everything goes on eBay first and then gets cross-posted. So
our evil plan is hatching and coming to fruition. We increased average sale price and then our quantity that is decreasing. So
yes.
Not having to work as much listing and shipping stuff out, but the average sale price is going up. So that's been really good.
But today is off to a better start, she says. Any volume sellers experienced eBay slowdown last few weeks? This weekend was worse in many years. Yeah, I think it's just kind of what we were talking about. We actually had 2 record weeks, 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Obviously not this week. Like I said, we sold more on Poshmark than we did on eBay, but the 2 weeks before that, we had record-breaking weeks, and it was fire. And honestly, surprisingly, we really did not have that many more items than what we normally would have. It was just the higher priced items. So
yeah, Q4 is coming around.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it does ebb and flow some. So don't be terrified if everybody else is like, man, it's been fire, and somebody else is like, man, it hasn't been. So sometimes it just takes your closet a little bit longer to kind of warm up. You good?
Give me just a second, guys. Maybe Nikki can go on the questions. Just ignore my fingers
Ignore
here.
her finger touching the screen. Oh my god, I keep almost putting people in timeout on accident. I found an old List Perfectly video. I'm moving all of my items onto LP from 2 years ago. Are you still starting all listings on List Perfectly, then pushing to eBay/Posh? No. So we are actually starting everything on eBay. And originally way back when, we were starting things on eBay, and then we just used List Perfectly to cross-post over. We stopped doing that because we realized we needed like another way to check it. So we at one point went to listing them on List Perfectly and then just cross-posting them over. But here's where we ran into issues. The issues came from when we started on List Perfectly. When you cross-posted them over to eBay, you ended up having to pretty much fill out the entire listing, and it was taking us a bunch of time. So we ended up going back to just cross-posting, or originally listing them on eBay. Now we cross-post from eBay same day over to List Perfectly, and then as we have time throughout the week, we cross-post them over to Poshmark. And we do that because LP to Posh is just a couple clicks, and then eBay to List Perfectly is just a couple clicks, where if you do it the opposite direction, you have to pretty much fill out the whole eBay listing. So we did definitely kind of switch that up, and I definitely think that it's more beneficial to us. So let's see. Yesterday was my best day ever on eBay. Good job, guys. Is there an easier way to drop prices other than delisting and relisting on all platforms? eBay has like bulk functions that you can use to drop prices. Like, it's pretty straightforward. I think eBay is like one of the best when it comes to having bulk processes. For us on Poshmark, we use Posher VA, and it's able to like decrease everything for us, and we don't have to really worry about that. Otherwise, no, not other than just going to the websites and changing them themselves. But yeah. Let's see what else we have. We are a volume seller and we had a slower week until yesterday. Finally made a live. Welcome. Good morning. I love to see all of the channel members. It's nice. You guys have like a little blue star next to your name. I don't know if you guys see that or not on your end, but I see it on mine and it makes my heart happy. So everyone has different items that make sense. Different people have different good and bad days. Just go with it. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like keep going. Don't stop. If anything gets in the way, you can't just throw in the towel and say this isn't working or I'm tired or whatever. You just gotta kind of have to stay the course, keep pushing, and even when it gets kind of discouraging, don't get discouraged.
I'm back. We got rid of our lights graveyard, guys. Finally. A weight off the shoulders. They're gone. We still have ring lights, but the umbrella lights. That's honestly, it's kind of sad. It's like an era. It's leaving.
I'm not sad. Those would taken up so much space over there, and
it looks
you
weird,
couldn't even get to that last closet rack. So I'm glad that we can get to it.
We could probably use this for whatnot now with the back. Yeah. We could make backgrounds or something. That'd be cool.
I wonder if you can put push pins in that.
I think we can do whatever we want. I don't think they'd care.
I don't know about them caring. I just don't know if it's like actual wood. Like if you could physically push them in there.
We'll test it here in a little bit.
But we could get different backgrounds and have one for like each holiday.
We've kind of been wanting to do that for the lives anyways.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Did I tell you that? This just made me think about it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and buy my Grinch costume early so I can wear it for Halloween, and I'm going to dress Indy up as Max and just put one antler on her head.
I gotta see this.
Yeah.
We gotta go live with you and Indy.
Also, my kids tried to dress up as police officers and convicts. Like, Natalie was going to dress up as a police officer and Jameson was going to dress up as a convict, but then I kind of thought it might be frowned upon to send him to school in a jumpsuit with.
Might be.
Yeah.
I don't have anywhere to go this year. I usually dress up and do a whole outfit, but I don't have anywhere to go this year, so I don't know that I am.
Go trick-or-treating. Come walk with my kids. I don't really want to do it anyways. Come borrow them. All right, anyways. Sorry, sidetracked. Yes, you see the blue stars. Yay! I like the llamas, too. It's my favorite because Tina drives me insane. Do you still end and sell similar on eBay? And if you do you do that on Poshmark as well? No, we do not end and sell similar. We have not done that for years. We don't use lights. Ha ha ha! Guess what? We don't use lights anymore at all. We have like these like super nice fluorescent lights right over top of where the girls photograph, and it just like gives the perfect color. And then the phone's like autocorrect enough that it's like fire. And we don't have to worry about walking around them or tripping on them or having enough outlets. We've tried like everything. We bought ring lights, we had umbrella lights, like we did background removal. We literally stopped doing all of it.
The lighting in here is horrendous. If you are actually here, it looks like horrible lighting. Like, I don't know what else to say, but it just works. Like, for some reason, that white painted wall, like with the overhead lights, it just like brightens it up. I don't know. 8K in 1 week. Way to go, ladies. Yes, we've been working hard, honestly.
I'm so tired.
I am too. Fall right around, I was like, wait, it's almost next year.
Yeah, we get to the end of the year and I'm just like, it's just like a big sigh.
You just came back from vacation.
I know. I'm really tired still. I cleaned my whole vacation though, so that's probably where I screwed myself. So.
Yeah.
All right, questions, drop them. Anybody got anything you want to talk about?
Are we getting off here early? This never happens.
I would hope not.
19 minutes in?
I'm sure somebody has questions.
I probably took too many people off and they left after they heard whatnot.
Probably. They're like, bye. Actually, it increased by 42 people since then.
Okay, cool. Are any of you on whatnot? Because I have questions. I have questions for you if you're on whatnot and can help. So give us some tips down below because we're newbies.
Little Miss Nat, can I make a joke? You could just send us your death pile. No, honestly though, like I would figure out how many that you have, and just roughly see like, okay, I have, I don't know, 50, and I would set a goal for yourself of like when you want that to be gone. I would stop sourcing for the interim to get that stuff out because ultimately, I don't know if you pay attention to the like sell-through rate model, but if you do, then you're going to want to get that stuff out and listed first. But I would just like set a goal. So you have 50, say you want to be gone in 2 weeks. Okay, 25 a week is what you need to work on. Or even set a time limit for yourself. Like I'm going to take one whole day and I'm going to spend my entire day and I'm going to get through as much as what I can, no interruptions. I think that's like the best thing is just like setting small goals for yourself, really setting like a realistic timeline and making yourself stick to it. And you can always share the love if you want to share the love.
She said, "You silly."
I know. I saw it with her crying emojis.
I saw a lot of suggestions, questions, comments, and all that. First of all, Heather, congratulations on your best month yet. 1,400. That's awesome. Or wait, 1,000. Yeah, ish around there. 1.4K. That's awesome.
1,400. Yeah, that's about that. 1.4K. Yeah.
I was like doing the math.
Her
in
brain's
my head.
not working.
I'm so tired. I was like, I gotta make sure that's right.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny.
So many questions you don't want to bombard. You go
Drop
ahead and
away.
put them in. This is what this is for.
Drop away. Tell us about your ASP going up.
Well, I'll tell you what I did, and then maybe Nikki can give you her perspective because
Just kidding.
Basically, I decided that, which first of all, a lot of people think, wow, it's weird that all resellers are trying to increase their ASP right now. Guys, like every reseller thinks about doing that at some point in time, like decreasing expenses, increasing your ASP, like listing more. Like at some point, you're going to go through all those phases. So right now, our phase is increasing our ASP. Before I hired employees, my average sale price was usually between $35 and $40, which was really good. Since I hired employees, we're working on volume a lot, and that slowly went down. And now we're trying to get it back up again while still holding volume. So I kind of, honestly, I feel like it was abrupt. I was just like, one day I was like, Nikki, I'm trying to increase ASP. I think you were at the office a lot, whatever month I decided, and I was like, as I've been sourcing, this is what I've been doing. So when you start sourcing again, like, no pressure, but like try to focus on it, try to research higher ASP, and then you'll start finding them. And that's all I like really gave her, and then she just kind of took off with it. But honestly, for me, what has worked for me has been focusing on researching before I go sourcing, and I usually just spend like 10 minutes, whatever day I'm going sourcing. I'll look up a category, I'll look up a brand. Average sale price is what ASP stands for, average sale price. And yeah, once I started looking up those brands, like I just felt more confident going in the thrift store, and because I was only focusing on those, that's what I found. So I don't know what else to say about that, but it's been going really well. It's definitely slow, because we're still selling out some of those older items, but it's slowly and surely increasing as we pick it up. And I feel like really good about what I'm picking up. What about you?
Yeah, so I was going to bring up a couple points. One of which is, I think when people think of ASP, they only take into consideration what they're actively listing things for. They don't take into consideration that you're offering discounts, that you're offering coupons, that you might have to accept offers. So though you might price an item at $40 and you think, oh, everything I'm picking up is $40, my ASP is going to be $40. It's not. By the time that you always end up taking offers or do discounts or deals or bundle deals or whatever else. So your ASP ends up dropping from that. So that's the first thing I think you need to keep in mind. I'm not going to lie. When Cayley was like, let's find higher ASP stuff, I was like, what are we doing? Like, I'm just picking up what I'm finding. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, I had a rule for myself, like, don't pick up below this. But I was thinking, how many items, volume-wise, am I going to miss out on because I'm skipping them? And I know that most of you guys will probably have that same mindset if you're, like, newer resellers. So I wanted to share that with you. I don't know how it happens. And I swear you guys are all going to think I'm absolutely insane when I say this. But I swear whatever you look for, you bring it to fruition. I know that sounds absolutely insane. But, when you, like, we all played the punch bug game like forever ago in the car, and like punch bugs were just like overly abundant then, and we punched people all the time. Like the punch bugs were always there, but you noticed them because you were looking for them. I think the same kind of thing happens in the thrift store. If you know what brands you're looking for when you're going in, you're looking for higher dollar stuff, you tend to come across it, or your eyes are drawn to it. I don't know about you, but if I go into a store and I'm looking for Lily Pulitzer, like everything that's multicolored pops out to me, and like I'm plucking each one from the shelf. Um, so I don't know. I think you kind of bring it to fruition in a way of not bringing it to fruition. But I don't know. I think a lot of it just came from like researching after enough time and like knowing what to skip because I'd comped it enough times that I was like, okay, this isn't worth it. Like it's never gonna be worth it. Just ignore it and being able to kind of speedball through it. A lot of it for me that like really clicked and made a lot more sense was seeing different brands with wholesale too.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of those come in and like kind of what the common factors were, how the stitching was, what the labels look like, how the font looks. Like I can tell you most brands by whatever the like material tag font is anymore because I've looked at them so many times that I'm like, "Oh, I know this brand." So I think a lot of it's just like doing the research, looking at brand tags, and I'm a very like visual person.
Yeah,
So.
she means slug bugs.
We call them punch bugs here.
Yeah, I think it's different per state, but yeah, beetles, slug bugs.
Volkswagens,
yeah.
Volkswagen beetle bugs, whatever you call them. We call them punch bugs here.
Why do we call them punch bugs here? I think it's the same as slug
thing.
bugs. But...
Yeah, just because you punch somebody.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process on ASP, and like I'm not gonna lie and tell you that I like overly focus on it when I'm in the store. Like there's very few things that I come across that are lower ASP that I just like pass up because I'm there, I've got it, it's 100% sell-through rate. If it's cheap enough, I'm gonna buy it anyways. But as far as like higher end items, like I had a day the other day where I had like 5 or 6 $75 plus items, and like that normally isn't something that I would come across. So yeah. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I know it was kind of a rant, but
I think when people heard we were trying to increase ASP, they thought that we stopped picking up like the $25 items, but we still pick those up as long as they're high sell-through rate. One thing I did notice, like kind of a negative, I guess I'll say to this, is because I'm only speaking for myself, but because we've been focusing on increasing ASP, I feel like we've been slipping a little bit on sell-through rate. Again, just speaking for myself, but like if I see something now and it's only a 50% sell-through rate, but I see that like all of them unsolds are going for $50, I'm more likely to pick those up now. Whereas before I would have been a lot more hesitant. And I think that I've become a little bit more lenient with sell-through rate because of that, which can be a bad thing. But I've also been taking risks and just pricing slightly lower, and they've been selling, so I feel good about it.
I think we've gotten better at knowing what risks are worth it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's been a lot of other like higher brand things where I'd be like, I just don't know. That I feel like most of the items we've been getting have been pretty high dollar. And like I feel a lot better about authentication on stuff now. Like I'm able to look at stuff and say, oh yeah, like I think that this is pretty great or it's not great. So
yeah, absolutely.
What percentage of your earnings would you say you roughly invest back into your business?
That's a good question. You know, this kind of goes along with a lot of the questions I've been getting recently, which is like, how much do I personally take home as a business owner? I'm not going to give you exact amounts because honestly, I don't, percentage wise, I'd have to like look it up, but I'll just say that I have a big risk tolerance because I have something else to fall back on. You know, I've got YouTube earnings, I've got brand deals now, I help a family business. So like I have something to fall back on. I'm not just relying on eBay, Poshmark, reselling earnings. So I invest, at one point I was reinvesting 100% back into it to grow it as quickly as possible. Now I'm not doing that. I'm keeping a cut for myself, but it's definitely a smaller percentage than probably most of you would be okay with because I have something to fall back on, but I want to grow it faster. And I know that by being able to have a high risk tolerance, reinvest it quicker, that my business can grow quicker is what I'm trying to say. So I take home a very small amount compared to what we are grossing and reinvesting a lot of it back in to grow quicker.
I like this question. What's the most recent bolo you have found? Or most surprising? Like terrible brand normally, but this specific item in that brand does really well. Not something you put in your videos because you know I already binged all those.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Well,
Ooh, what was that one I told you about the other day?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look it up.
I have a whole list on my phone
That you can't get to?
Yeah, which I can't get to because I'm filming right now, and I'm also using those to share with my members only videos. But I don't know. I mean, honestly, the things that have been really surprising to me lately have been like plus size brands, like not even like huge bolos, as in like they're gonna go for a lot, but like stuff I would have never have looked up in plus sizes. I'm like, oh, like I should have. Little Miss Nat, thanks. I could slow down and pay myself more. I could. But if anybody knows me, Nikki probably knows, but like I'm a pedal to the metal, like let's just do it kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And because I will say I have made a lot of risks, but they've all paid off. And, you know, we've grown a lot quicker than other businesses because of that. And I do think that we are getting to a point where we are going to have to stop going and we're going to like wane out a little bit for a while and just kind of relax while we focus on some other things. But I will definitely work on paying myself more when that happens. But I honestly love growing it quickly. I love hiring new employees, being able to offer jobs in my area. That's important to me. It's not about taking home the most money. What was I saying? Bolos. Plus size brands. I can't even honestly think of like a specific one, but as I'm in the plus size section now, I'm like looking up everything because there have been some I'm like, holy crap, this has like a 100% sell-through rate and I've just been passing it and I can, you know, here's $25 over and over and over again. So I can't think of a specific one, but plus sizes have been really surprising me. Some of those like lower tier brands that have really great sell-through rates. What about you?
A new brand I learned this week that I did not know about was Percival. It has like a 200% sell-through rate, and there's some like they're not like high dollar items by any means, but sorry, but they I don't know, they performed pretty well as far as sell-through rate. I don't know, I'm trying to think of other bolos. Like we've been doing some research on bolos, but like nothing that we've come across yet. So Percival, Percival, Percival. I don't know. They had some like I think what I got was like a shirt, if I remember right, and it was actually from a wholesale. Shout out to Shelly, but their jackets, like shirt jackets, men's shirt jackets, like those went for like almost $100 when I looked them up. I think it might have been like 80 something maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look again. So if you look them up right now and it's not what I said price wise, don't shoot me because I'm not looking at it, but they're like regular t-shirts, like button-ups and stuff for like I think like 40 to 45, so they're not like killer, but they had 100% sell-through rate. But then like I said, the shirt jackets, if I come across some of those, I'm gonna be good.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, Allie Miles is a really good one. I don't come across it very often anymore.
I didn't realize you went outside and I was like, who's opening my door?
Oh, everybody's been telling you congratulations in the comments, by the way. I keep forgetting to tell you.
Guys, I'm a great aunt again. It happened yesterday at 1:30 and I'm really excited. And she's beautiful. I'm not going to show you her picture because my niece would probably kill me, but she's beautiful. Okay, I gotta keep focused today. I'm like a squirrel. Like, woo. Talk about your whatnot plans. How did your live go?
We did go live. To be honest, I don't think I had enough time to promote the fact that we were going on because it was like, hey, it's a Tuesday. I'm going to go live on Whatnot. Surprise! And then Friday we went on. So we didn't have a whole lot of people come. We had a little over 40 people join the live. Like at its peak, I think we had 40 people, 44 on. So my thoughts on it were that it went well. We sold everything. I had a lot more fun than I expected to. It was very nerve-wracking in the beginning. Now I feel like, okay, like I got this. I know what I want to do. But everything sold, but stuff sold at much lower than we could sell it for online, but it also sold faster. It sold the same day. So Nikki and I are kind of weighing those options right now, but I do think if we would have had more people on, I think a lot of that stuff would have went for a lot higher. Having 44 people on is simply just not enough people to have the right customers for those items. And I'm honest, excuse me, I'm also trying to figure out who our customer is, because right now you guys are my customers, resellers are my customers. And I'm trying to think, do I want resellers buying from us to be able to flip items, or do I want real customers buying stuff for themselves? And I think I want real customers buying stuff for themselves. So we're trying to figure out who our customer is. Right now I'm just gathering some tips. I heard that doing kind of curated shows, like I'm thinking about doing a plus size only show, an athletic wear only show, helps, but I think I need to gain some more followers to really feel good about what we're doing and test it out. But overall it went good. So future plans are just over the next couple of months, I'm going to be doing at least 2 shows a month, maybe more, and just testing out some different categories, and promoting it to try to get, some more people on at least, so that we can really have a true test of what it was. But it was a lot of fun, honestly. I feel a lot better about it now that I've done it once.
What was the general timeline of your growth? Just being nosy and comparing where I am.
Let me read that again. What is the general timeline of your growth? Well, first of all, don't compare to me, because again, I have a very high risk tolerance and you might not be in the same situation. And I've always been in a situation where I had something to fall back on since I went full time. So just to be transparent. General growth, what did I go? I started doing it as a hobby in 2016. In 2019, I went full time. Wasn't really full time. I thought I was listing a lot. I was not. And then when did you get hired? It would have been like 2020, 2021,
it was
right?
2020.
2020.
April 2020.
Yeah. I asked Nikki.
That's not true.
I thought it was 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
2021, the height of the pandemic. Actually, it was right before the pandemic, I think.
No, because I got COVID before that.
Oh, okay. So the height of the pandemic, I messaged Nikki and I was like, hey, you want to leave your job and come work with me? And she said yes, long story short. And we've been growing it ever since, trying to apply a corporate setting to a small business. And honestly, I think that's what makes it work so well.
We've changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like from the get-go. I was actually telling one of the girls the other day that I remember when I first started shipping, and Cayley would have like an entire batch of stuff that the girls had photographed. And we at the time had a photographer, and we had a lister. So one person would photograph everything, and then they would upload them, and then somebody else would go into eBay and list all of them. And then we would just set them active, like each day or whatever we decided to do. Cayley would do it, however. And that was before we did like scheduled listings. We would just set somebody, whatever.
I think our goal was like 10 when you started.
It was 20. It's 20 when I started.
20 per day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we didn't do weekends because it was 100 for the week, and we didn't do weekends. And I remember thinking I would come in after that week and I'd have to put the entire week away. And anything that sold over that week, that weekend, that wasn't put away, I just had totes, like 6 totes to dig through. And I remember looking at Cayley and thinking, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. So we've changed that. We went from having one person that photographed and one person that listed to having everybody kind of start to finish handling it. We've changed inventory systems twice.
Changed offices.
Once.
Well, twice for me.
You changed twice. Yeah. Once for me, twice for Cayley. We've moved shelves. We've hired new people. That new thermal printer. We went to the Rollo. There's been a lot of different things that we've kind of changed in. I think every time we think that we're done, something else pops up and we're like, we're not done yet.
How many items, like when you started and you think about shipping, how many items, because she wanted to know growth, so you started towards mid 2021, so mid 2021, how many items were we shipping out on like a Monday, let's say?
It was like 40 to 50-ish.
Yeah.
We were shipping about anywhere between 10 to 20 a day, so if you think 3 days worth, it would have been anywhere from like 30 to 60, but I think it was normally around that like 40 to 50 mark. And like we would fill like a desk and a table, and I would be like overwhelmed.
It's overwhelming.
Like I remember thinking like, oh my god, it's taking me forever. Today we shipped like 85.
Yeah,
to 90-ish.
Our average is usually like 1 to 120, but since we've increased the average sale price, it's gone down. The most we've ever shipped, which happened last year around this time, was like 200 packages. So if that tells you anything about growth, you know, on a Monday going from like 40 to 50 to over 100 consistently.
Pretty sure we shipped like 250 like 3 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that's
did
what I
we?
had to ship when you guys were gone.
Oh, just kidding. We broke the record.
It was, oh yeah, it was a lot. There was over 100 on eBay and over 100 on Posh. And I remember thinking like,
well,
I'm gonna punch Cayley when she gets back. She thought her tooth hurt now. We'll see what happens.
So in 2 years, we have what, like at least tripled, if not quadrupled.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been going fast. Every year we seem to double. This year I don't think we'll double, but every year since I've started, I've been able to double gross sales. Gross. But just keep in mind, I am reinvesting. In the beginning, I was reinvesting almost all of it. So definitely some fast growth. I know 2 years doesn't sound like fast growth, but compared to, you know, other types of businesses, I think a 3% increase for a business would be great growth in most companies. You're talking about doubling in a year, which is crazy.
The one thing I do want to mention is that there's been a lot of regression in that time frame. So we've hired, it didn't work out. We've done all kinds of different things that we thought would work, and then they tanked and didn't work. So I don't want you to just see like sunflowers and daisies from your side and think it's great. Like there's a lot of times where we sit down with the girls and we say, all right, this is not working. Like let's sit down, let's hit the drawing board again, let's think it through. Like what can we change? How can we make it better? So though it, from your guys' perspective, might seem like super easy, or seem like it's all been, like I said, sunshine and rainbows or sunflowers and daisies or whatever, it's definitely not been. There's been a lot of moments where we've kind of hit rock bottom and been like, all right, where do we start? We were not very transparent for a while, but I am now. We had 2 girls walk out on the same day once, and it was 4 of us, me and Cayley and the other 2, and they both quit on the same day.
Contractors.
Contractors at the time. And we were like, well, what do we do? So it was literally, we'd gone sourcing, we got back. One had walked out that morning. We got a call from the second one that said, no, I'm not going to stay either. And I was like, huh.
That was a whole situation we're not going to get into.
Yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff with that. And a lot of it was just misunderstandings. But I want to let you guys know that like there have been moments where we have hit rock bottom. We've kind of had to start all over. So there's a lot of steps forward, but there's also a lot of steps back as well. So if you're struggling with your business and there's a spot where you're like, man, I just don't get it. We've been there. We've had them. I'm going to say it again. Stay the course. It's the only thing you can do is when, everything lights on fire. It's a dumpster fire. You just got to find the fire extinguisher and keep going.
Sometimes it took those moments to figure out the best way to go about things too, because like 2 people left. They were doing most of the work besides sourcing, and then Nikki and I had to figure out how to do the same amount of work with just the 2 of us.
In the same amount of time?
And then we made it happen, and I was like, so why did we need those 2 people? Like,
yeah, and we ended up hiring one person to replace both of them.
Yes.
And, I mean, we saved a bunch of money. So, though, like, it seemed detrimental, I'm a firm believer that, like, God gives you things, like, makes decisions for you that you won't make for yourself. And I don't think we would have ever made that decision for ourselves, so I don't know.
It ended up being great, but yeah, definitely a lot of highs and lows.
Sorry, guys.
Hope that answered your question a little bit, but if you're looking for anything else, let us know.
I bought your keyword string doc, so I know you at least use them on Poshmark, right? Why don't you use them in the theme on eBay? I left that comment. Oh, sorry, that's something else.
So we do use the keywords, but we put them in the description box. The theme, we do occasionally use them, but there's only so many drop downs in the theme, and not all of the words included on the keywords list are in those drop downs. And we try not to add custom drop downs into eBay because, long story short, it's kind of a waste of time. you're only filling in the drop downs because buyers might choose those drop downs when they search for items. So if you're filling out something custom, the likelihood that they're going to type the exact same thing is very unlikely, because they might not even be able to type, honestly. They might just have those options. So that is why we do sometimes pick a theme, but like bohemian or outdoor or western, southwestern, whatever. But for the most part, we're just putting them in the description. Someone makes a good point. RX Vintage said, but the description on eBay is not searchable. That is true and not true, because by default, it is not searchable. However, there is a box that your buyers can select while they're searching, and it will include the description box. But yes, you're right. In most cases, no. But it is really good to put keywords for Poshmark, because Poshmark does by default search those descriptions. So keywords are really great in the descriptions on Poshmark. On eBay, they're more impactful in your title, but your title's usually used for other things anyways.
Mandy said she's been banned on Whatnot and has no idea why. Every time that she tries to reach out, they respond with stuff that makes no sense.
You should send me that response on like Instagram or email, what they're saying to you, and maybe I can help you make sense of it or ask about it.
Somebody said they came across Gudrun Sojin and wouldn't have noticed if they'd never seen the video.
I love that brand. So good to hear.
Julian says, we need a stay the course shirt with Cayley Nikki on a pirate ship with a Persoscope, because that's what I envision every time Nikki says that.
That would be fun. I like that.
Maybe I should be a pirate for Halloween instead. Do you have a video on how to get started on a cross lister?
I feel like I do have a video for like List Perfectly for beginners, but you know what? If you're interested in cross posting and you want to use List Perfectly, they have free resources. Like, you can go onto their website, you can go on to their YouTube, and they'll actually show you how it all works. And they have like beginner videos, tutorials, like they have everything. And you can even ask them questions without ever having an account yet. So I would really look into that, but I'm pretty sure someone said I do. Maybe somebody will or has dropped it in the comment, but I'm pretty sure I have like a List Perfectly video. I do. There are other ones. I prefer List Perfectly, but I'm sure that somebody else, if you're interested in another one, has like a for beginners one.
I watched a video the other day on the this is a long story, but I'm gonna cliff note. I watched a video on all the cross listers, like generic on their own.
The
different
sites,
ones, pros and cons versus, and some of those are like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. I'm like biased. I think it's because I started on List Perfectly, but it's so clean and it just seems so user friendly. Like, especially if you're used to eBay, like.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very similar, and I just makes my heart happy. Some of those other ones, I was like, how do you even know what's done? Like, I watched one of them, and one of the cons of it was that you had to do each item. Like, if you were going to cross post, you had to do each item at a time. You couldn't do any bulk functions, which is one of the things I love about List Perfectly, is you can do all of it in bulk, which is really nice. What would you do if you sourced shoes that smelled like smoke? Would you trash them or sell them and disclose the smoke smell? I would put them in the freezer.
Yeah, I would try to get it out. I mean, if they're only going to be like $25 shoes, to be honest, I'd probably just trash them. Just where we're at right now with things. But if they were like, $40 and up, I would attempt to get the smell out. Freezer could be a good one, or depending on what it is. Are they leather? Are they fabric? I think I saw some people giving you some advice, so I won't try to give you too much, but I would at least attempt to get them out. If I could not get them out, I probably wouldn't list them. Just my opinion. Not a lot of people are going to want to buy things that smell like smoke.
I want to know your thoughts on this. I've been selling since 2008. I get 75 to 80% of my inventory from family and keep 100% of the profits. ASP/sell-through rate is low. Is it better to keep getting the free inventory or stop and source?
I think that it depends on what you want your business model to be, which I'm going to give a little plug for myself and say that I have not announced this yet. I mean, we've touched on it, but
You announced it to me?
You already know.
Oh, I thought you were about to tell me something else.
No. It is not available yet, but I have been working on a course for years, and I am getting to being able to release it. And part of that course is determining which business model is best for you, depending on what's going on in your area. So, if that comes out and you want to, that would be good for you. But it really depends on what your business model is. Everything needs to be tailored to what is available to you. If you don't have access to high sell-through rate items, then that business model would work great for you. You would want to focus on like volume or finding free or really cheap items. But every business model is doable. You just have to know what's available to you and run with it. So I guess my question is, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep, not worrying about your cost of goods and have access to inventory really quickly, but then work a lot to list all of those items for them to not sell for a long time and, reap little bits at a time? Or would you rather put the time investment into going to the thrift stores, researching, finding high sell-through rate items, and then spending less time listing them and waiting, I guess is my question. But I love the high sell-through rate method myself. I would rather things sell more quickly. A lot of that is due to space. But there's nothing wrong with a volume model either. I'd love to get inventory for free.
All right. NW Purple Sparkles. This makes my heart happy. We do not keep track of scheduled listings in a spreadsheet or anything like that. We actually have a whiteboard in the office, and we just have like each day of the week drawn out. We write the date beside it, and as we fill it, we just like exit or check mark it off. And then if there's so many scheduled on each day, we'll just write that. You could totally do something like that for yourself, make like a laminated sheet or something like that you have. There's also ultimately a way where you can just go to scheduled and like Control F search and type in like October 2nd or whatever, and it'll tell you how many you have. We like to use the board. We don't keep a spreadsheet, but you could. There's a lot of different ways where you could write down or mark where you're at or how many you need. I think there's a lot of different options for that. I really want to get fast at listing. I use Vendoo and list on Posh, eBay, and Mercari. Can you talk more about the process of your listing process?
I think maybe you were answering this when we were out, but
yeah.
I don't want to go into detail, but there's reasons why we do it the way we do that would probably not be the right choice for most people. Because we want to use the bulk eBay functions where we upload our drafts or our sourcing spreadsheet into drafts. We start everything on eBay, then we cross-post them onto List Perfectly, then we cross-post them onto Poshmark. That is so that List Perfectly keeps track of where the inventories are and kind of acts as a hub to what platforms there are and creates those links for us. However, if I were doing this myself, I would probably start listing on List Perfectly and then push them out to other places. Ultimately, a way to be faster is just to do the same thing every time. So pick something, stick with it, and move forward. You're going to automatically get faster as things go
on. When you have people that bundle items over 5 pounds, I'm assuming on Posh, it comes out of your profit. Wouldn't bundling be discouraged? Curious on how that works.
Yeah. I'm frustrated about bundling on Posh because
I'm frustrated about the weight that they don't have options for you.
Yeah, it's not really fair to the seller. We won't get into that, but you can't really control it. I mean, somebody can make a bundle, purchase it outright, and there's nothing you can do about it. We've had people purchase like almost 40 items in one bundle before, and there was nothing I could do about it. But it does eat into your profits. The only advice I could give you, hopefully they'll be changing that in the future. So anytime you're able to give Poshmark feedback, give them that feedback. But best advice I can give is if you're able to negotiate, if someone's countering in a bundle or whatever, I would just keep that in mind that you may have to upgrade the label. So you may not want to counter too low or accept too low of an offer, and maybe even discuss that with your buyer, in a nice and polite and professional way. But yeah, it really stinks. It's really encouraged for the buyers because they only have to pay shipping once. But yes, for sellers, it is a little discouraging.
Sorry.
You're all right.
People asking about if we can not ship items.
Oh.
Yeah. Punch bugs. Great analogy. I'm glad you guys liked that.
That was a good one.
At what point in your business did you decide you could no longer do it on your own, meaning it was just too much? We've talked about this a couple times, about how you like thought you were ready and you weren't actually ready, and how you thought you were efficient and you weren't actually efficient.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common.
Yeah. I definitely could have waited a lot longer. But ultimately, when I decided to hire, it was when I felt I had no more time left in my day to list more. I got to a point where I felt like there was a bottleneck, and that if I wanted to list more, I was going to have to get help. That's when I started hiring. But I tried to use all of the time that I had to list as much as I could. Looking back now, I could have listed a lot more, but when you're in the middle of it, you don't feel that at the time. You feel like you're doing everything you can.
Lori says, I bought a Coach coat, but now I'm not sure if it's real. Can I sell it with a disclaimer?
No. If you think that it's not real, you should just not list it.
You can always send it in places too and like have it authenticated. That's probably what I would do if you feel like you could sell it for like quite a bit. I know like Mercari has options where you can do that. You could always send it to like the real stuff like that if you really wanted to be sure.
Don't risk your account.
But yeah. Can we talk about wholesalers? We really need more people wholesaling for resellers. Shelly's right.
Yes.
I'm putting Shelly on blast here for a second. Her username here is Creating Happy Mondays. She has actually launched a group on Facebook. Hopefully she doesn't mind me just like outing this randomly. But she's ended up creating a Facebook group about reselling for wholesalers or being a wholesaler. And it's honestly been really cool to see different people in there. There's quite a few so far, and just like trying to make connections. She says, nope, out of way. But it's really cool because it gives you a chance to make connections. There's things that like we wouldn't want to buy, but like maybe somebody else wants to buy. Not everybody in this group follows sell-through rate. Not everybody wants high ASP. So I think the cool thing is that in this group, there's a bunch of people who will post either a list of the brands that they have, or they'll post like a photo of what they have and say, if you're interested, let me know. But it ends up being something that's like really beneficial, and we've really enjoyed it. Yeah, you can totally put the link here for the group if you want to, Shelly. I don't know how to do that, so if you can, that would be great.
We would love to buy from you first.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We would love to have first dibs if we could have first dibs. But if you're looking for somebody to purchase for you, you might find some people that are in those groups. If you have stuff that you're looking to sell, please reach out to us first, because we would like that opportunity to kind of work through things or see what you guys have. But
it's a new market.
Yeah.
And the people that are getting in it now, like Shelly, have a really great opportunity to like make it big doing that, and everybody's kind of finding their footing and like feeling stuff out. I need to get my crap together and actually schedule it. They're probably like, oh, they forgot about me, but I actually will be interviewing one of my wholesalers soon and putting it here on YouTube, and hopefully answering a lot of you guys' questions, like how do they even make money and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really nice too that, Shelly's been really working on like doing YouTube videos about what it's like to sell for somebody. I've recommended a couple people who have reached out to me and said like, hey, I want to do this, but I'm not exactly sure how to make it work. I've referred some of them to Shelly, just because I don't feel like it's fair for me to be the purchaser and like explain to them how to make money. Like I want to make sure that they know that it's like a neutral party that's kind of advocating for them. But I don't know. It's definitely a very interesting
Okay, Shelly, I will add you to the interview list. That would be fun.
Yes.
Actually,
I love, not that I don't love Bethany, but I don't interact with her as much as what I interact with Shelly. But I get to do video calls with Shelly every Friday, and she is like the funniest, nicest person ever. So nothing against Trash Panda. I just don't interact with her as much. Cayley generally interacts with her because she was like our original
First
OG
one,
wholesaler,
yeah.
and it's like consistent, and Cayley just takes that off my plate so I don't have to worry about it, and I take all the newbies. Which, let me tell you, keep me very full. But if you guys have any questions, Shelly really is great, and that Facebook group would be a good place to ask questions or get answers or anything like that. So,
Shelly, maybe you have a future in creating a course
yeah,
for
wholesalers.
Maybe
Maybe
I know
you
you're
should come
busy,
to
but-
Ohio and we could just spend a whole week together.
Yes.
She's like, oh god.
I will get to you about that, Shelly. I have to interview the first person I ask because they're probably like, oh my god, she's never going to reach out to me again. So I need to do that first, but then absolutely, I would definitely love to interview you.
Have you started thinking about business goals for 2024 yet?
Are we supposed to reach like $1 million or something?
Yeah, that was supposed to be the goal for 2024. It was supposed to be $1 million.
/ 2025. So we've got.
I was shooting for 2024 because we had some serious growth.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about plateauing it for a while, it might be 2025.
Well, I just don't think that we'll be able to do some of the things we've been trying to promise these people if we don't. But goals, okay, so these are my personal goals, and then you tell me what your personal goals are.
I don't have any.
So business goals are to, holy cow.
There's a wholesale.
Sorry, I got a phone notification.
Oh,
2024
awesome.
goals.
There's more.
My goal, honestly, would be to make sourcing mostly wholesale. That is like my goal. I still will go sourcing, but I'd like to relieve myself of feeling the pressure of having to drive an hour and a half one way every day. So that would be my goal. And then since I've literally, when I hired Nikki, I was like, I'm hiring you because I want more time eventually to be able to do YouTube. And then we've just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And I've never been able to do that.
I think that's kind of the problem with us is like we have a goal and then we're like, but we could. And then we throw something else.
So my goal for next year is to step back a little bit, to be able to take 1 or 2 days during my work week just for YouTube and to helping you guys and all the things we've been trying to promise you, would be my goal. I feel like I've been trying to slowly do that, but yeah, she's right. We like have a slot and then we're like, but wait, there's more. We could fill it. So I don't really have monetary goals. Mine are more like time goals myself. I'd like to launch that course. I'd like to have some days specifically for YouTube. I'd like to get her to stop working as much because she's salary and she comes in like early every single day and she needs more time with her kids, and forcing her to do. I feel like in order to make her do that, she's going to have to I'm going to have to be like, no, you're only working 4 days, like not 5. So my goal would be to get her to that point. And then I would like to bring in more wholesalers, have stuff coming to us would be my goals. And then go to like a reseller event, at least one.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to a reseller event next year. Definitely increase wholesale. Like, I'd like to probably have a day a week that's just like nothing but wholesalers.
Yeah.
And then maybe even hire one more person.
Yeah.
To work on that, but we'd have to get the wholesale kind of nailed down. I don't know.
Thanks for all the new members on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot going on as far as like goals yet. Like, I really haven't thought that far ahead. I'll have some. We normally do a video at the end of the year, like reflecting on what our goals were for 2023 and how we achieved them or how well we did for them. And then we normally have one for 2024. And to be honest, it's just October 2nd. So I need you to like ask me December 15th or something, because that's when I'll start thinking that far ahead.
What are your goals for 2024?
Yeah.
Let us know.
I'm very last minute. Like, we kind of make jokes about it, but Cayley's like the go-getter. Like, she's the jump at the next thing all the time. And I'm the if it's going good, why change it kind of person. And I will change things eventually, but I feel like I have to have time to like thoroughly think it through, and like see the issue and it be like a recurring issue, and then have time to kind of develop how I feel about it, and then think through all the options. Like, I'm a planner for sure. Kaylee's more of a
let's get her done.
let's just do it. But at the same time, like, sometimes Cayley will come to me and be like, well, this isn't working, what do you think? And I'm like, well, let's just try it. Like, send it, let's see what happens. And she's like, are you sure? I said, I don't know, we switch roles sometimes.
Why do we do the odd cents on pricing?
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed that.
We've long story short, there is a buyer psychology that there's research that says that buyers see something with odd cents significantly lower than rounded numbers. That's why all your grocery stores are like $3.99 instead of $4. So even though something might be $4, well, $3.99, just because it's 1 penny short of $4, they see it as significantly lower. So that is why we do it.
Little Miss Nat, we do not use QR codes. If we went to the post office and did that, that would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be a lot.
I made Joe try that because I wanted to know what it would be like. And he's been using it and it's been really great for him, but he only ships out like 1 item a week usually, or 2 items a week. So, but yeah, we would not be able to do that.
Not with as many items as we have. Like, we would spend so much time at the counter at the post office of having them like scan each one. I just think it's more beneficial. Now, I guess the only other perk is that you wouldn't have to buy like shipping labels or a printer or ink, depending on what kind of printer you had. So you could definitely save some money, but at the same point, how much time is money? So like for us, we had, like I said, probably 85 to 90 items today. You assume it takes a minute. That's like an hour and a half you'd be spending at the post office. So at that point, like if you do an hour and a half every day, like you're losing 5, 6, 7.5 hours a week. It's an entire day. What could you get done in an entire day that you're standing at the post office while they're scanning your packages? How many items could you source? How many items could you list? How many items could you sell? Is it worth it to just bite the bullet, get the printer, and move on? I don't know. That's kind of my opinion.
Lisa confirmed the buyer psychology. She says if something is listed for $99.99, her husband says it's $99, and she's like, no, it's $100.
Yeah.
So it works.
Alicia, you did spell my name right, so don't worry about it. It gets spelled all kinds of wrong ways, and I'm totally fine with it, however. How did we find our office space?
God.
A reasonable one. Did you use a realtor? Honestly, I tell you guys jokes all the time that we're like from a small town, but we are legit from a small town. And we were just like driving through town and saw a banner and we were like, wonder what that's about. And we called and the guy was immediately like, hey, it's marked for X amount of dollars, but I'll give it to you for half. And we were like, what?
That's
and
happened
we kind of
twice.
Yeah, we kind of looked at each other. We were in the car. I looked at her and she looked at me and she was like, I'll take it. We were like, okay. So we immediately came over, took a tour of it, and got it. But
kind of dumb.
Yeah, he might be outside. I'm not sure. I thought I heard him earlier. But I guess they were like having issues getting people to rent some of them. Like a lot of businesses had all like either closed up or moved or whatever in that time frame, and so they had a bunch of different rentals like available. And I think they just really wanted somebody in it. So we took it. We did tour a lot of other places. We actually toured like an old popsicle stick factory. Remember that? It was very weird. And we toured a couple different places, but they were like super expensive. What was it? Like
most
$3 a square foot or something?
No, average is like $5 a square foot.
No, I thought that popsicle stick place was like $3 or $3.50 because it was like one of the cheapest we had found.
I don't know. It was gonna be close to $2,000 a month, I think, which is probably for a lot of people cheap.
Yeah. So it was a lot. And we like none of the places like we went in and we loved. Like they had a bunch of rooms. Like we really wanted something that was like open like this and didn't have a bunch of little rooms because the old place we had a bunch of rooms. But we toured the popsicle stick factory and it was like
a dentist.
Yeah, it had a bunch of weird rooms. And then we toured an old dentist office and it had a bunch of weird rooms. And like, okay, fun fact, Cayley's dentist watches this YouTube channel. So if you're watching this, my kids also come to you. You probably don't know that yet, but they do. I'm terrified of the dentist. Like, deadly terrified. I have not been to the dentist since I was pregnant with my son, which is 5 years ago. Deadly, deadly terrified. And we toured this dentist office, and I remember thinking, like, oh my God, I'm going to come here and have anxiety every day, because there were still the dental chairs and stuff in there. And I was like, this stuff has to freaking go. Like, so we passed on that. And then, like I said, we came across this place. We were driving. It was open. It's 2,000 square feet or just about. And we were like, sold. Half price.
I have to give glory to God, because I was, like she said, we went through a lot of frogs to find the prints, and I was just like, I gotta pray about this, because nothing is like working out. And we had to move in like,
it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna be able to renew, and then we weren't, and then we were, but that's a whole other thing. But
they literally told us, like, they sent us an email like a month out, and they were like, hey, we think we're gonna sell your building.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna need to move. And so we like rapid fire started looking, because we were like, crap, we have a month and we need to figure it out. So we like took a couple weeks, toured places, found it, and we signed the lease. And then the next day the old landlord was like, actually, we're not gonna sell it. And we were like, well, we found somewhere else, so
yeah,
take that. We left. We didn't like him either, and we had flooding in that building in the basement, which was super sketchy. My poor husband came in there and he got wet so many times. Remember?
I think you left your broom thing down there a million times.
Yeah, we had to, because the basement would flood, which, like, we would have had more space and probably could have used more of it if we didn't have to worry about flooding. But
yes, little Miss Nat and Lisa, I cannot take credit for it. It definitely was some divine intervention, because both times, which she wasn't there for the first one, but both office places I got them for half price. Both times.
How does that happen?
And both times where I was driving through and just like by chance happened to see something, and they both worked out really well. So we'll move on from that. But I did see somebody say, which I'm not going to tell you what we pay for right here, but it is a freaking steal. It is a steal. But we have 2,000 square feet open office here. We're getting it for half price, and we're locked in for 5 years if we want it.
Yeah.
At that price. And yeah, it's just great. I will be honest, it's not like it doesn't have a bunch of bells and whistles, like we don't have our own bathroom and stuff, but it's been really good. But someone said that a storage unit, I can't remember the dimensions they said, but it's like $320 in their area for a medium-sized storage unit. And if you think about that compared to what we're paying, like crazy good deal. So yeah. But how did we find it? Honestly, no, we don't use a realtor. I just searched online, and then I've had like driving around Facebook Marketplace. You can look. We looked at some places on there, but no, not a realtor. Just looking around ourselves. 200 square feet for $320. Yeah,
that's crazy.
We're getting a deal. That's all I'll say. We're getting a real good deal.
Can you talk about a bookkeeping routine or the best process for bookkeeping that's worked for you?
Yeah, so I created my own spreadsheet. If you're not a spreadsheet person, there are programs you can use or spreadsheets already made, or you can use an accountant. But I make my own spreadsheet, and then I do it about once a month. I'll take all of my receipts and I'll enter them into all of the places, and I have like formulas that calculate, net profit or how much we paid and bills or, all that stuff. But I manually enter most of that stuff besides the like platform sales. eBay, all of our information is in the SKU. So I just pull the sales report. My SKU comes along with it, which has cost of goods if I want to do it individually. And I just paste those numbers in. Like the platforms make it really easy. You don't have to go line by line every single day. So I do it about once a month. I would not recommend doing it any less than once a month, or you'll end up having a headache during tax time.
Also, if you have employees, make sure that they don't hoard receipts for like a couple months.
Do you remember we were on a live one time and we got like a question related to this, and they were like, how often do you do bookkeeping? And I was like, at least once a month. And you were like, you don't do it but for like every couple of months. And I was like, every month, Nikki. And I think she thought that because she only gave me her receipts every couple of months.
I I try really hard towards like the last month of the year that every day I come back to give them back. But like, I don't even know how many I found probably like in April from like December. And she was like, listen, this is the last push. I have to have these for tax season. And I was like, okay. I'm trying to make changes. I have a bag on my bathroom.
Honestly,
counter
that's more than what a lot of people do, so it's
Yeah.
good.
Somebody said they had a men's nesting day baby carrier wrap shirt as an unsupported item. It was marked as a moderator removed.
Never heard of that.
I know.
Something flagged it. I don't know what. We don't do a lot of that.
What percentage of your sales do you think are international? You can't track that, can you?
I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
You need to look.
You can see. I would say
very few.
I would say like on a Monday, let's say we ship out 100 items, maybe like 5 of those might be international sales. Tells you the repeat buyers. Yeah, I don't think
No,
it's
it
gonna
doesn't
say.
tell us. Sorry, it doesn't tell us how many are international or how many are not.
I'd say about 5%.
All right. I only recently started focusing on the sell-through rate or factor stacking, as Cayley calls it. I'm in the midst of getting rid of a lot of old inventory to streamline my business.
Awesome. We have 203 people watching, so thanks for being here. We're going to wrap up some of the questions. I know we still have a little bit left, but if you have questions, drop them down below because we'll be getting off after we blow through these. And then make sure to give us a thumbs up because we have 200 people watching and only, oh, you guys already knew what I was going to say. It's going up.
49.
49.
Goal of 100. Wake up, yo kids.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. It's a free way to support the channel just by taking a second and clicking that button. Yeah. 55 likes. Thank you guys so much.
Alicia said that she has tried out 3 different cross-posting tools and List Perfectly is her favorite.
Nice.
I wondered how hard it would be to get my items from Vendoo to LP. I don't know. Has anybody here ever switched from Vendoo to List Perfectly? It looks like Jeannie actually switched from Vendoo to List Perfectly and likes it, or from List Perfectly to Vendoo and likes it more. I have unlimited on Vendoo.
I know when we weren't on another cross-posting tool, but I know that when we started using List Perfectly, we had to cross-post like from a platform into List Perfectly, but it kind of does it on its own. But we spent a good like day moving thousands of listings over. But if you've got like a few hundred, you could do it pretty quickly. List Perfectly is incredible. Yes, thank you. Thanks for your feedback, guys.
Grace, I agree with creating Happy Mondays. The best thing you could do is to get like a hair remover blade, or they make like big rubber like things, like they're not lint rollers, but they're like almost like brushes, but they're all rubber bristles. You might be able to use those to get them out. Ultimately though, it's just going to take a lot of time to get cat hair out of Patagonia fleece, but it could be worthwhile if you get it cleaned up. I'm in North Dallas and feel like I have a lot available. Thank you. I can't wait for that new course. I do need to figure out a good business model. How do you do your photo transfer? You take photos on phones, right? We do, and then we just plug in a little thing at the bottom, and then we just drag and drop them from the phone over to like a regular folder on the computer, and then we just open up the drafts, drop them in, hit save, and move on.
Easy.
Do you do a deep dive closet review versus like a beginner's closet review? We don't yet.
I mean,
I feel like it's pretty thorough though.
If you have you seen the videos on the closet reviews? Some of them are a lot more in depth, some of them are not, but we touch on like all the things that you would expect out of a closet review. Once you purchase a closet review, you get sent a pre questionnaire. And so there's a part in it that says like, is there anything you want us to focus on, or like what are your biggest concerns? And usually if you put something in there, like if you're like, man, like I don't know if my items have a good sell-through rate, then Nikki or myself will spend more time on that subject. But you know, we cover photos, listings, sell-through rates, feedback, how your store looks. Like, we're covering all the bases. But if you say what you're most concerned about, we definitely spend a lot more time on it if you're interested in that.
If you also have something, Michelle, that you're like, man, I feel like I'm really good in these few things, but this is something that I specifically want you to look into, send us an email ahead of time and we can let you know if that's something that we're able to do. If there's like a specific thing that you really want help with, before you buy it, just so you know if it's something that we're like able to maybe cut something else out but add that in place. I'm okay with doing that as well. Mercari has an authentication program for $5. You send a photo, from what I understand. That's nice. Everybody who wanted to know about Shelly's wholesale group, she did put the group link for Facebook in the chat function. I'm just gonna be transparent. I am in there, but so is Cayley. I'm not gonna be friends with all of you though, so just don't send me a bunch of friend requests, please, because that's like my own private, like,
not that she doesn't want to be your friend.
I do like you all.
We have a separation between private and YouTube.
Yes. But I am in the group if you guys want to join the group as well. I'm a wholesale shopper. I also can take photos, do descriptions, and send you clothes along with photos done. I can also cross-post using Vendu List Perfectly and Posh Sidekick. Coolly. I would totally do that video. We talked about that. My advice for going on vacation, or any advice for going on vacation. I know eBay has the option to keep the store open and just delay shipping, but does Posh or Mercari have a similar option?
I don't know about Mercari. I think they do, but I know Poshmark does. Everybody has, every platform I'm pretty sure has a vacation mode now, and yeah, I would recommend the vacation mode because prior to that, you would have to change your handling time every day, and it was really annoying. So I haven't used the vacation mode in a while, but it will slow down your sales, but not as much as shutting your store completely off. So I would definitely recommend using that vacation modes on whatever platforms you're going to be on.
We do not delist and relist at all. So just heads up on that. I remember in a past live you mentioning uploading your business credit card to pay for shipping on eBay. Did they remove that option? If not, could you explain to me how?
In order to do that, you have to set up your, what is it called? Like your expense payment method. So when you have like fees or shipping you got to pay for on eBay, you set it up through PayPal. And then on PayPal, you set your default payment method as your credit card with the rewards on it. So that when it charges through PayPal, it picks your default, and then you'll get a percentage back if you have cash back.
When are we going to do our next podcast episode?
Oh, I know. We're horrible. I know. Honestly, I'm so behind on the mean comments. Like, I have so many. We have all kinds of stories and stuff, but we definitely need to. We've had a lot of training going on here because we have a lot of new hires. We've had call-offs, vacations, like there's just been a lot and we've just not been able to do it. So I cannot give you an exact answer because I'd be lying to you because I don't actually know. So we are definitely trying to get back on it for sure. We want to. We miss it.
I need to vent. I need to get it back. People would be surprised, but in small towns it's a lot more affordable. I had 20,000 square foot antique mall for years, paid $1,500 a month, but man, prices have gone way up.
Yep.
My factor stacking queen, you are amazing. Yes, I've switched, and it was a pain in the beep. Have you been able to stay steady on eBay? Many large sellers are sinking. To me, it looks like you're steady. Any advice on that issue?
You got to do the same thing no matter what's going on. Whether you're sick, whether people on YouTube are saying the world is ending, the sky is falling, no matter if your life is hectic, you just have to do the same thing every single day. You have to be consistent. And that is why we schedule listings ahead of time. instead of having a draft bank, we have a listing bank by scheduling ahead, and that way when life does happen or you're sick or things are chaotic, it doesn't matter because you're so far ahead that you can afford to take a day off or whatever, but still be consistent because you've got listings scheduled. So my advice would be to get ahead, and then stay consistent, and you do the same thing no matter what is going on, the same amount of listings. Bye, Lisa.
Bye, guys. Bye, any of you that were taken off. Trina, I don't know where they're coming from, but I don't know. It makes for fun sometimes. We get to chat, so
I think a lot of it comes out of being frustrated in their own business and thinking that things are impossible that are not impossible. They just have not reasoned through how to get there in their own business. I think that is where these people are coming from, which makes me feel bad for them, but also it disrupts my day as well.
I also feel like a lot of people just think that, like, when Cayley and I make suggestions or, like, do videos like this, that we're saying that, like, our way is the only way and, like, nobody else can have any other ways to do things. And, like, that's definitely not the case. Like, if you go back to videos from 2 years ago when I started, like, sure, we said, hey, this is how we do things, and now we're coming in, we're saying, hey, we don't do that anymore, and this is why. We're trying to essentially save people some of the journey of having to try something and then it not work. So we're kind of the guinea pigs for you guys. We try things. If it works, great. We say, hey, we like this and this is why, or hey, we tried this and this is why we didn't. It doesn't mean that you have to follow that. You can 100% try it and say, well, you know, this is what one thing they're listing as a con, and I don't see that as a con. I would rather have that than this. That's totally fine too. You guys can make any decision that you want to. Just because it works for us doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Like I said, there's things that we've tried and then they don't work. So then we kind of move forward with something else. It's just, I think that that's where a lot of it comes from, is people think that we, like, are trying to say that this is, like, the only method, and that's definitely not what we're trying to do. And everybody takes everything to heart. Like, I can't even say old people on YouTube, because then everybody's like, oh my god, you're ageist. Like, I don't hate old people. Like, I love 99.9% of them. If I have to pick a generation I dislike most, it's probably mine. Like, I think that we're tanking the world, but I don't know. You just can't you can't say anything without somebody, like, taking it offensively. And I can assure everybody here that we don't make comments to, like, intend on discouraging anybody.
I've been told that I come across as preachy, and I was like, I could see that. I'm not trying to do that, but I could see that.
You're just very meticulous. Yeah. I think that's, like, your thing, is you're very thorough.
They don't know,
and they don't know how to take it.
They're like, why do you have to do that? We had a review that I set live, a closet review. I set it live, but we had it, like, for a while, but I just hadn't set public. I set it public, and you even said in it, like, thank you for purchasing a closet review. If you guys are interested, you know, there's closet reviews or whatever. And some lady still commented, she was like, I want to know what gives you the right to judge other people's closets, and, like, went off on me. And I was like, they asked me to.
They paid me to?
They paid me to and asked me to critique it. And I was like, what do you people want from me?
Oh my god.
So I don't even think people watch all the videos. I would never do that.
I would never do that. I would never just go to somebody's closet and be like, I'm going to just pick some random person and review a closet and be like, your closet sucks. Like, my god, if you look at our old listings, like, I guarantee you could eat us for dinner. Which is, like, why we always check people's newest. But what service do you use on eBay for £5 and up? We offer both priority and USPS ground advantage for either. They can choose whatever they want it to be when they purchase, but we do give them the options for both. Most times people purchase ground and we just use ground, but I think ground goes up to, like, 75 pounds now. Like, it's
a lot.
It's a lot of weight. Store shoes, we have some, like, shelves that we put them on. We have a couple shoe racks that I don't know where they came from. Kaylee had them, but Amazon. She bought them somewhere. We have those, and then we bought some other just, like, plain regular shelves that we use as well, that have, like, smaller gaps between the rungs. We use some of those as well.
There's the Tina llama emoji.
Llama.
People are also really mad. Sorry, I'm seeing a lot
You're
of
fine.
really nice comments from everybody. I really appreciate that because sometimes we need some positivity after all the negativity. But we have people that are like really mad about collaboration deals, and like also YouTube just changed their policy on ads. I can't even control how many ads now, so there's like they can't even skip the ads, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not me. But people are really, really mean, but I appreciate those of you that are here and saying some really nice things. It's good. It helps flush out the bad, and we're trying not to take it to heart because we do know deep down that, you know, there are very few people, but it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody just said, could you imagine if everyone spoke to each other in person the way they do on the internet? My goodness.
Oh, I want them to call or come on the channel.
I tried to tell Cayley that I wanted to do a chat phone, like where if you had a complaint, you could call and complain, because
Phone be ringing all day.
I want the ability to call them back. So, I don't know. Anyways, we're pretty much at the end. We're at 93 likes. I really wanted to hit 100. So if y'all could just make it happen.
Wake up your kids.
That would be great. I don't know. I don't see any other questions, but I will see you guys next Monday. It was great spending time with you guys today.
Yes.
We've missed you.
Yeah. We will try to get a podcast episode up because we do miss it.
I need to talk about the demon lady. I've been waiting for this for like a month, 2 months. It's time. Demon lady 99. Who's one? Woo!
All right. Thank you guys. We're gonna get off here. Everybody have a great week.
See you next week.
Hope you guys make tons of money.